In the harsh, freezing lands of Turkey, wild boars don't just survive, they thrive. Thanks to their thick layers of fat and dense fur that fiercely defend them against the bone-chilling cold. Despite the bitter weather, they keep moving relentlessly, foraging for food and leaving a trail of destruction wherever they roam. To stop this nightmare, we moved in immediately, armed with determination and unyielding will. Are you ready? Let's get started. After days of freezing cold, today, the clear sky opened a golden opportunity for a challenging hunt. Without hesitation, we quickly packed our gear, ready to face whatever dangers lay ahead. As soon as we arrived, the team scattered, tracking the wild boar's trail. Soon enough, the baying of hunting dogs picking up the scent echoed through the air. We hurried toward the spot. When the beast came into sight, the bullet flew, dead on target. That ended a tense chase. The animal weighed in at 200 kilograms, a true wrecking machine. It's hard to imagine what this place would look like under the claws of such a fierce predator. Just a few hundred meters away, Leon's team arrived at their position and quickly spotted the target. They swiftly chose the right spot and angle, adjusting their scopes toward the prey. A sharp gunshot echoed through the cold air. Despite its desperate attempt to escape, the beast fell right there. Cheers erupted, a celebration of a quick, precise shot. We couldn't stay still, constantly moving, every step aimed at increasing our chances of spotting the prey. The gunshots echoed, spooking them into a quick retreat. Without hesitation, I adjusted my scope and squeezed the trigger. That precise shot made controlling the hunt faster and more effective than ever. The temperature kept dropping, snow falling heavier, but no more targets appeared. We decided to head back, carrying with us the hard-earned success of the day. Next day, we boldly ventured into the neighboring forest. This time, without the aid of hunting dogs. Every sense was on high alert. From keen observation to detecting scents and sounds. That's how we spotted our next target. As its silhouette slowly came into view, I knew I had only one shot. Not letting it escape, I pulled the trigger immediately. Another perfect shot, adding a fresh victory to the tally. Pressing deeper into the heart of the forest, my eyes stayed sharp, scanning every movement without missing a beat. When an unusual sound and a strong scent approached, I immediately prepared for whatever might come. Suddenly, the wild boar herd charged through. Despite my quick shot, I only managed to bring down one. Their speed was incredible. They escaped the rest of the barrage. Wasting no time, I quickly alerted Leon to intercept the wild boars that had just fled. Just as expected, Leon swiftly took down the target with a series of precise shots, successfully cutting off the escape route of these beasts. The gunfire echoed, not only as the end of the chase, but as the sound of liberation. Freedom from the destruction these wild boars leave in their wake each time they appear. battle is over, and the freezing cold couldn't stop our resolve. On the way back, we were all exhausted, but relieved. The threat had at least quieted for now. The wild boars are still out there, and we'll be back. If you want to join us on more heart-pounding hunts ahead, hit like and subscribe. See you on the next challenging hunt up in the hills, full of new thrilling moments. Thousands of hectares of farmland in Bulgaria are being ravaged by wild boars, causing millions of dollars in damage. Crops are destroyed, livelihoods are shaken, and fear is spreading fast across the region. In the bone-chilling cold, Finn and his hunting team push deep into the frozen forest where every step forward could mean life or death. Will they manage to take the shot before the beast vanishes into the wilderness? Get ready for the most intense, heart-pounding moments of this wild boar hunt. Morning light pierces through the thick blanket of snow covering the forests of Bulgaria. Finn's hunting team moves in silence, every step carefully calculated. The air is tight with tension, every sense locked in. Suddenly, the hounds break the silence. The prey has been found. Finn wastes no time, moving swiftly toward the signal. Through the scope, the wild boar comes into full view. Calm and focused, he lines up the shot. Squeeze! The gun cracks through the cold air. The boar stumbles, takes a few shaky steps, then collapses into the snow. A flawless takedown thanks to perfect teamwork with the dogs. In a hunt like this, support isn't optional, it's everything. Wasting no time, the team pushes deeper into the forest. Every step is steady, nothing escapes their watchful eyes. Suddenly, a dark blur flashes across their line of sight. A single gunshot cracks the silence. Fast, clean, and deadly accurate. The boar drops on the spot. In that split second, Finn showcases unmatched precision, flawless instincts, perfect execution. As the last light of day fades and the temperature drops sharply, the hunting team quietly begins to pull back toward the rendezvous point, believing the chase is over. But then, Finn's sharp eyes catch a subtle movement in the distance. He crouches low, steady hands on the trigger. A single shot rings out. The boar drops silently. No thrashing, no sound, just stillness. Another sliver of peace restored to this land. Quiet but relentless. The snow had begun to melt after days of eerie stillness, revealing the cold, damp earth beneath. On the western hillside, Finn's team moved in silently, taking up their planned positions. 10 minutes passed. Finn remained razor-focused, eyes locked onto every twitch, every flicker of movement. Then, just beyond the trees, a dark figure slipped into view. Instinct took over. His finger squeezed the trigger with precision. The dry crack of the rifle shattered the silence. The boar collapsed instantly, never even knowing what hit it. It paid the price for the ruined crops and the chaos it brought to this land. His eyes locked onto a group of wild boars quietly concealed in the underbrush. With lightning-fast reflexes and zero hesitation, he adjusted his rifle, took aim, and squeezed the trigger. One boar dropped instantly, the rest scattered in a frenzy. Without missing a beat, Finn signaled his team a new wave of the hunt was already underway. Moments later, the hounds let out a sharp cry. The target had been spotted. James surged forward, eyes locked with unwavering focus. The critical moment arrived in a flash. One clean, decisive shot, dead on target. Almost simultaneously, signals lit up from other positions. One after another, shots rang out, silencing the danger for good. The battle ended as quickly as it began, restoring peace to the land. For now, the people could rest easy at least this time. This hunt has come to an end. The destroyers of the harvest have finally been stopped. Victory didn't belong to the brave marksmen alone, but was the result of seamless coordination between local farmers, authorities, and the unshakable brotherhood within our team. Once again, the hunters spoke up at the right moment, and this time, they came out on top. We sincerely thank the local community and authorities for their unwavering support, trust, and partnership throughout this journey. Not everyone has the courage to face the bone-chilling cold, where every breath that leaves your mouth turns to mist. But for wild boar hunters, this is a familiar battlefield. It's not just a confrontation with a cunning prey, but a battle with the very limits of one's own endurance. It demands unwavering determination, a courageous spirit forged through years of experience. Join us on today's snow hunt to witness heart-stopping moments where the line between hunter and prey is drawn in the blink of an eye. David's team was assigned to guard the southern forest, and the bone-chilling cold today was both a challenge and a promise of a thrilling hunt. Following the familiar tracks of the wild boars, he spotted a dark figure looming ahead. Then, it suddenly stopped, pivoting 180 degrees as if sensing danger. A single moment of hesitation would mean losing the prey, and David would never allow himself to make that mistake. Not far off, James' team lay in ambush by the pine forest. With the eyes of a seasoned hunter, he anticipated the boar's movements, pinpointing where it might appear. And when it came into view, the wild boar moved cautiously, weaving through the trees. But in a moment of inattention, a single misstep into a deadly gap was all it took for James to force it to pay the ultimate price for it. We pushed deeper into the forest, the thick snow making movement more difficult, but we never faltered. From a distance, the wild boar charged out, moving as fast as lightning. Before I could even get a clear shot, Thomas' bullet had already pinned it to the snow, just as it made a break for the open space. No more steps, no more chance to escape. A perfect read of the situation, and a flawless kill down to the last centimeter. Do you agree? As the sunset made way for the darkness, a new battle began. After resting and refueling, we quickly hopped into the vehicle, armed with the latest night hunting gear, and headed towards the fields where the wild boars had caused the most damage during the day. The world through the scope is an eerie painting of shadowy figures. A whole herd of wild boars, completely unaware that they're being watched from afar. The infrared reticle locks onto the largest creature, the one calmly enjoying its meal. No warning, just a sharp crack of the rifle, sending the massive beast crashing to the ground, restoring peace to the field. The silence didn't last long before James' team received word of a target near the local cattle pen. This was a threat that needed to be dealt with immediately. James quickly locked onto the leader of the pack, the troublemaker. However, its thick hide proved to be a challenge, causing the beast to stagger but not fall. Instead, it bolted in a frantic escape. For the safety of the people, James was determined to hunt it down to the very end. It was late into the night, and that cunning boar had led us straight to its herd. This was the final kill before heading back. The way James locked onto the leader's head and took it down with a single shot showed the team who the real sharpshooter was. As the herd scattered, a volley of follow-up shots echoed, driven by the determination to capture as many as possible. It marked the end of a long, challenging day, but this conclusion couldn't have been any more perfect. A day of hunting in Oklahoma came to an end, a journey that spanned from the snow-covered forests to the vast, foggy fields of the night. For us, this wasn't just a hunt. It was a mission to bring peace to the farmers, to protect crops and livestock from the devastation caused by wild boars. But tomorrow's hunt promises to be even more intense. Hit that follow button and join us as we hold our breath through the heart-pounding moments yet to come. Across the vast prairie, the fierce encounter with wild boar. On the grass, deep tracks remain pressed into the crushed blades, fresh droppings lie scattered, and claw marks gouge deep into the earth. Unmistakable signs of a massive, savage wild boar. We stopped dead silent, not a word spoken. Each man quietly checked his gear once more. If our instincts were right, the herd would circle back here. This wasn't a scouting trip or a game of chance. The mission was clear. Take down the beast that tore through 3 cattle farms in just 2 weeks. Would we succeed in bringing down this monster? The answer is coming up next. Every eye was tense like a drawn bowstring, tracking even the slightest movement across the prairie. Suddenly, the ground trembled. A massive herd of wild boars thundered past right where I stood. Locking onto the lead boar, a sharp shot rang out. It dropped instantly. Follow-up shots echoed, cutting down the rest as they scattered in panic. What a perfect kickoff to today's intense hunt. What do you think? Let us know. The relentless footsteps kept pressing forward, heading straight toward the neighboring field. Before long, a lone wild boar appeared, charging across the vast open grassland. But it was all over the moment my shot rang out sharp and true. The beast collapsed on the spot, another piece of land saved from the destructive grip of the wild boar. No time to rest. The sharp baying of the hunting dog signaled a new target emerging. Leon moved in swift. Ahead of him, the beast struggled to escape the pack, hot on its heels. With a steady aim and a firm squeeze, the shot rang out. The prey collapsed instantly, taken down before it could slip away. Leon's razor-sharp skills are undeniable, striking fear into the wild ones so they dare not make another move. The sudden noise raised alarms. The wild beasts quickly slipped into the dense forest beside us. Without a word, the team changed course, moving silently deeper into the southern woods. In just a few minutes, the rustling sound caught my attention. I swept my gaze toward the movement. There, a herd of wild boars was quietly trailing one after another. A sharp gunshot cracked through the air. The entire herd scattered in panic, leaving behind one motionless body. Without hesitation, we plunged deeper into the forest, swiftly hunting down any stragglers left behind. Not far away, a lone beast broke away from the herd, moving slowly and completely unaware. I locked onto my target. Bursts of gunfire rang out, tracking its every step. In the end, the creature couldn't escape the precise shots. A perfect ending, clean and decisive. Leon was no less impressive. Before long, he locked onto his target. With a single flawless shot, the prey dropped instantly, clean and precise. Gunfire erupted from all sides, signaling that the forest was under control. Tonight, the locals could finally rest easy. Today's journey has come to an end, thanks to the close cooperation between local residents, authorities, and those who tirelessly protect this land day and night. For us, every bullet fired is not just a display of skill, it's a solemn commitment to safeguard the land and the harvest. Each hunt takes place strictly within permitted areas, fully complying with legal regulations, and with a greater purpose: to control harmful populations, protect the ecosystem, and maintain the delicate balance between humans and nature. Thank you for joining us on this thrilling chase. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and stay tuned for even more intense hunts in our next video.
A thin morning mist still clung to the hills, but the destruction left behind by wild boars the night before was painfully clear. Cornfields torn to shreds, sweet potato plots ravaged like a war zone, and the livestock penned still in ruins. These beasts aren't just aggressive, they're cunning and bold enough to attack anything that stands in their way. In that eerie stillness, Thomas's team moved quietly, locking and loading, inspecting every round with cold precision. Their eyes burned with determination. They weren't just hunting, this was a battle to defend the crops, the land, and the peace of this community. By the end of today, will these monsters still have a chance to bring terror once more? The team made the call to move to the first battleground, the southern slopes of America. From high above, the open landscape stretched out before us, giving the hunters a commanding view of the terrain. There they were, a pack of wild boars clustered at the base of the hill, too focused on foraging to notice that danger was closing in fast. Bang! The first shot rang out, sharp and thunderous, a declaration that the hunt had begun. The entire herd scattered in panic, but it was already too late. 2 more shots followed in quick succession, dropping 2 boars on the spot. It was a strangely smooth start. Could it be a good omen for the rest of the hunt, or just the calm before a much tougher storm? Pushing deeper into the dense forest, thick undergrowth began to limit our visibility. Then suddenly, a target appeared at a considerable distance. But that kind of range doesn't faze a seasoned hunter. Thomas quickly raised his rifle, took steady aim, and pulled the trigger. The first shot sliced through the air, sending the boar darting behind the brush in a desperate attempt to escape. But there was no escaping the second shot. Fired without hesitation, it landed squarely. The heavy beast rolled into the undergrowth and lay still. At the same time, in another position, one of Thomas's teammates had his eyes locked on a boar hiding deep in the thick brush. The moment it poked its head out, ready to bolt, boom, the shot rang out. The animal was hit, tumbling to the ground, not giving it a chance to recover. A second round followed instantly, sealing its fate. The prey was completely subdued by the hunter's pinpoint precision. What do you think of that shot? Drop us a comment and let us know. Leaving the hillside behind, the team took a short break to recover before moving on to a wide-open field, where the wind whispered through the dry grass. Suddenly, strange noises emerged from within the brush. Thomas, rifle in hand, stood ready, calm and focused. Moments later, a dark figure burst out at breakneck speed. Without hesitation, Thomas raised his rifle and fired. Bang! The first shot hit, but it wasn't enough to bring the fierce creature down. A second round followed immediately. This time, it was over. The beast collapsed, its escape attempt cut short by the marksmanship of a sharpshooter hardened by countless hours of learning training. Suddenly, the loud barking of the hounds erupted ahead, clear signs that prey was closing in. The team rushed toward the sound, and right then, a massive wild boar burst out of the brush, charging straight at Thomas in a full-blown attack. In that split-second moment of danger, a single hesitation could have turned Thomas into the hunted. But he didn't flinch. Calm and composed, he raised his rifle, locked on target, boom. A thunderous shot rang out, and with just one bullet, the raging beast was dropped before it could get any closer. The hounds were still barking in the distance, echoing from deep within the brush, clear signs that another target was still hiding. One of Thomas's teammates rushed in to assist, quietly pushing through the dry grass, following the urgent barks. Then in a flash, the target revealed itself. Crack! A single gunshot rang out, deadly accurate. The boar froze for a moment before collapsing in the underbrush, completely still. Now put yourself in that moment. Would you run, or would you stand your ground? Let us know in the comments below. After a series of intense encounters, the team gathered the hounds and began the journey back. Today's success wasn't just about stopping the wild boars from destroying crops and livestock. It was a clear testament to the sharp instincts, unshakable nerves, and expert skills of seasoned hunters. More importantly, every action took place within a designated, state-approved hunting zone, following all legal regulations to the letter. If you found this journey thrilling, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming hunts.
For many, this is a hunt, but for us, it's a mission. Wild boars are not ordinary prey. They are a destructive force, fierce and relentless. To confront them in these vast fields, you need speed, vision, and firepower. That's why we're here, aboard this helicopter, to carry out the important task, entrusted to us by the community, to protect the harvest and preserve the peace of this land. Join us as we embark on today's wild boar hunt. And don't forget, watch until the end of the video to vote for the most impressive takedown. The whole team donned protective gear, earphones to block out the noise, weapons at the ready. We boarded the compact helicopter and headed out toward the mist-covered fields. Down on the prairie is always the perfect time to start. When the dark shape of the wild boar emerges, everything happens like clockwork. As the helicopter lowers, my shots are fired quickly and decisively, each one bringing the mighty beast down. The first trophy of the day, an unforgettable debut. The peace didn't last long, as the signs of destruction left by the wild boar led us straight to the western fields. As soon as they were spotted, the boars scattered, an age-old distraction tactic. Just then, the guide's voice crackled through the earpiece. Priority target on the right. I quickly locked onto it and fired in rapid succession. Despite the boar's strength and speed, charging toward the brush in a desperate bid to escape, it couldn't outrun the judgment of death. How many points would you give for this seamless coordination? From the helicopter door, a dark shape moving unusually across the field caught James's sharp eye, and the helicopter quickly swooped in. His sights locked onto the fast-moving target. From hundreds of meters away, the single shot performed flawlessly. Unbelievable! This wasn't luck. This was the skill of a professional marksman, honed through years of rigorous training. When the sun reaches its zenith and the heat becomes unbearable, wild boars seek refuge in denser, more treacherous areas like the hillside. At this point, the helicopter no longer holds the advantage. We are forced to switch to ground ambush tactics. Following the tracks, we cornered a wild boar at the base of the slope with no way out. The moment it attempted to climb, it exposed its weakness. Without hesitation, David's shot rang out decisively. All its efforts crumbled, and it collapsed, sliding helplessly down the hill, like a puppet whose strings had been cut. At the same time, on the other side of the hill, Rose silently dealt with a target hidden in the brush. With sniper skills honed to perfection, she gave the prey no chance to react. A clean, sharp shot. That's the kind of work style we always strive for. Efficient, precise, and without a sound. And a peaceful night's sleep for the locals is the true testament to the results of our hunting team's efforts. As we packed up our gear and headed back in the twilight, a wild boar's crude head suddenly emerged from the brush, clearly visible right in front of me. It thought its stillness would conceal it from the hunter. My finger took care of the rest. One clean shot, like a final farewell, shattering its naive illusion and bringing the day's hunt to a perfect close. From the heart-stopping aerial combat in the morning to the intense ground-based strategy in the afternoon, our team executed the mission flawlessly. The Land Rover Defender was ready to carry us and our spoils back. A portion of the game will be used to treat the farmers who trusted and supported us in protecting their land. Checking the highlight footage on the iPhone 15, the quality is unmatched. There are definitely some shots that will leave you in awe. If you enjoyed moments like these, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll be back soon, stronger and sharper. See you on the next hunt!